Hello everybody, I'm going to show you what the Nikkor 45mm f2.8 is all about. The lens is very thin. It's probably around the same size as or rather the same thickness as the rear lens cap, and this is actually considered a true pancake lens. Okay, so as you can see, the focusing ring rotates the other way, unlike most Nikkors that rotate from right to left. This one rotates from left to right, and the aperture ring turns in the usual way. Okay, so as you can see, there's a scale here for flash guide numbers in meters and scale, and this lens was made with flash photography in mind. You see, this feature of coupling the focusing ring to the aperture ring is prevalent in lenses from other makers, because lenses from other makers turn the other way, unlike Nikon. So Nikon had to do this. See? It's kind of weird actually. It's kind of hard to focus sometimes. Okay, so what makes this special? So as you can see here, there's a switch that you can lock onto the scale, so that as you turn the focusing ring, the aperture ring turns with it. Oops. See? Now, why is this useful? Back in the day, before the advent of TTL, flashes only have one power. Okay, so if you were to let me disengage the lock. Okay, let's say if you were shooting at a subject around 5 meters away, and the correct aperture is f8 for the sake of argument. So when you focus on something that's about 15 to 30 meters away, it's not going to have enough power, right? Because your subject is far. So what you'll do is you'll have to open up the iris so that it can get more light. Okay, so what you would do in this case is, let's say for example at f8 5 meters, f8 and 5 meters, you have a guide number of 40, okay, or 125. So what you would do is lock it like so, wait for it to engage, and then as you focus, the aperture ring will adjust accordingly. So that's just a clever way of making sure that you get the correct exposure each time you use a flash gun with your Nikon F, because this lens was made during the time of the Nikon F and the Nikkormat FTN, the original Nikkormats. So yeah, that's the big deal with the GN Nikkor, and it's one of a kind because there's no other lens made in the Nikkor brand that has this feature, because soon after this lens was made, TTL metering is quickly becoming the standard for flash photography. Okay, so as you can see, as you focus closer, the iris stops down, because if it doesn't do that, then you'll have an overblown picture. Okay, so that's the trick with the Nikon GN. I've used this once with my assistant, and she was actually amazed that such a clever gimmick actually existed in Nikon land. I really missed her so much, but that's another story. Okay, so yeah, that's it for the Nikon GN. So let's see when we focus down to 2 meters, which is probably around the right distance that you would shoot a model with. At f2.2, you'll have a guide number of 40 or 125 in the foot scale. Okay, such a beautiful lens. So okay, one last thing. So the right way to use this lens is to, of course, mount this on the camera and then get a incident light meter and meter your flash, and it should give you what EV scale you should use. When it says if your subject is probably around 2 meters away and the meter says you should stop down to f5.6, then you should engage this switch so that the focusing ring and the aperture ring is coupled. So as you focus, the iris changes along with it. Very clever. I hope you guys get what I mean, because this is probably a very vague concept for people who are new to photography or don't shoot flash much. This is actually very neat for street photography. Maybe I should do one of these days using this lens shooting street photography, but I'm not that rude. I hope I don't offend anybody by saying that, but flashing people in the face is actually not very polite. That will definitely land me into trouble here in Tokyo. Even though the people here are kind of passive, they do get pissed off when you flash them in the face. They'll probably get a punch in Shinjuku. Okay, so that's it. Very, very handy. So when shooting flash, what matters is your ISO, your flash power, and your iris opening, your aperture. Your shutter speed doesn't really matter so long as it falls into the what they call this thing, shutter speed sync. Okay, so that's it for the Nikon GN. Thank you. Bye bye.